Let's talk about hyperarousal in dogs. So when I talk about hyperarousal, I'm not talking about a dog who is drivey or excited. I'm talking about a dog who exists at a level of stress that is unhealthy for their behavioral, physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Some dogs have a higher than healthy baseline stress level, and that can be due to a number of factors, including genetics, early environment, current environment, trauma, and even pain. Hyperarousal as a response to pain is frequently overlooked. But exercise releases endorphins and provides a temporary pain reliever. And so if you see a sudden increase in your dog's activity level and arousal, that's a vet visit. So these dogs can look like chronically overexcited dogs that are difficult to wear out. But what's actually happening is that they don't know how to come back down. You might describe them as not having an off switch. And that is not healthy in any breed. What's tricky about chronic levels of high arousal is that I find they can sometimes mask the underlying emotions. So if I have a dog who's existing in like a high yellow orange zone, it's not uncommon to see when we get their baseline arousal down that there's actually some nervousness or some anxiety, some frustration under there, and not just pure excitement. But when the arousal is so high, it can all just look at like arousal. We may not see those signals that tell us it's anxiety or tell us it's frustration until we get stress levels down a bit low and we see the body language and behavior start to shift in those situations. I can't tell you how many times I've had a client think that their dog super loves people, only to find out when we get the arousal around people down a bit that their dog's a bit conflicted or unsure. My German Shepherd had a really underwhelming first year and a half of life, and he's a working breed dog, and so that combination just set him up to fail. He could come up, but he had a lot of difficulty coming down. So we could go on like a really long hike full of enrichment and smells, different textures, having to be aware of like where his feet are going, crossing rivers. But when we would stop for a rest or a water break, he would almost immediately start whining because he didn't know what to do with himself. And laying down, taking a breath, that wasn't an option for him. He wasn't able to work through challenges, so things like nose work and scatter feeds were really hard for him. He didn't do any sniffing on his walks, which is weird for an animal with such a powerful nose, isn't it? And so we worked on self-regulation, we worked on calming, and we worked on satiating his needs in ways that didn't create more arousal until that was something he knew how to come down from. And now I'm proud to say he can do 5-minute searches for his toys if I can manage to hide them well enough. And that was way too big of a cognitive challenge before when he was so aroused. He even laid down and took a break in the middle of a play date and swimming yesterday. So proud.